SpaceX Starlink slaps the FAA. Not in a good way. Let's go check it out. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Look at that. Pick your poison, people. Pick your poison. It's that time of year. I love Samhain. Halloween. Fun times, fun times. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking photo, talking video. Today is a technology day. We're going to be talking a little bit about the FCC, the FAA, SpaceX Starlink, yada, 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 maybe even a little bit of Dish Network. So I want to get into this, but before I do, I want to say that if you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks, go check them out. I tell you guys all the time, go look at them. They are free. Go to JCristina.com/books. If you get anything out of this video, throw it a thumbs up. That'll be very helpful. Also, if you have not subscribed, consider doing so. It's free too. If you are subscribed, click this little button over here so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. And if you want more Starlink goodness, I put together a playlist of about 200 Starlink specific videos. When you're done watching this, check that out. Maybe I'll put a link over here. Also, if you want to say thank you for all of my hard work on these 1,000 videos I've put together, there's a little thank you button right down here. Click on that, give $1 or $2 if you like. If not, that's fine too. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. And if you're looking for a VPN, consider Pure VPN. The nice folks over there gave me a promo code, JCristina, or you can go to JCristina.com/VPN. Once again, JCristina.com/VPN, you'll get 15% off. Anyways, guys, let's get right into this. Now, I was reading a bunch of articles like I always do, kind of distill it down and then give it to you guys and let you know what's going on and give you my commentary and hopefully down in the comments have a discussion with you about whatever we're discussing. That's what we do on this channel, right? So today we're going to go over a couple of articles. I think this is kind of interesting because it shows that even though some of these regulatory agencies think that they're all that, the bottom line is they're not really, okay? And every single agency out there is trying to do two things: get more money per year, number one, and number two, get more power. Right? Power and money. That's what regulatory agencies are all about. And it's not about us. Don't even let them kid you. It's not about the people. It's never been about the people. It's always about power and money, right? And if they don't have enough power, they request it. They want it, all right? If they don't have enough money, they want it. They request it. They beg for it. And then when they get more money, they are mandated to spend that money every year. If not, the following year, they will get less. So what do? They buy hammers for $500. That's how it works, right? In a nutshell. Anyways, I was reading this article and it said this. It said the Federal Communication Commission, which is the FCC, has imposed a $150,000 fine on Dish Network for failing to uphold its debris mitigation plan for its EchoStar 7 satellites, signaling increased scrutiny from the FCC on space debris issues. This fine comes amid concerns about the growing amount of space debris as satellites become a more common means of internet access, including those ventures like Elon Musk's Starlink. As for that $150,000 penalty that Dish Network just got slapped with the other day, it is nothing in the scope of things. Last year, Dish Network made $1 billion. $1 billion. $150,000 is not even a slap on the wrist. I don't even know what you would even call it. It is nothing. All right. They're like, okay, cool. There's 150,000. No big deal. So that story kind of leads us into the space news story that I want to read to you. It's a little short excerpt of this. And I think this is interesting because we see large institutions, large governmental bodies trying to, let's say, inject their force onto private companies. And sometimes they get slapped. They get slapped hard. And in this situation, SpaceX Starlink slaps the shit out of the FAA. I love that. All right. Now, there's some things that I do agree with the FAA, and I'll tell you what those are by the end of this video. But for the most part, once again, it's a power and money grab That is what almost solely happens when it comes to governmental bodies. And we all know that. This is nothing new. At any rate, let's jump right into this article. It says SpaceX is challenging an FAA report that raises concerns about falling debris from U.S. licensed satellite constellations in low Earth orbit, or LEO, by 2035. In an October 9th letter, that's just a couple of days ago, to the FAA and Congress, SpaceX's principal engineer, David Goldstein, criticized the report as relying on flawed analysis and outdated studies. This happens all the time with government. The FAA report suggests that 28,000 hazardous fragments from deorbiting satellites and launch rockets could survive re-entry annually by 2035, with SpaceX's Starlink expanding representing a significant portion of the risk. The FAA was directed by Congress to issue this report in 2020, focusing on U.S. licensed satellite constellations. The FAA's report also highlighted concerns about the increased risk of falling debris from rockets used to deploy and sustain large LEO constellations. Once again, low Earth orbit constellations like we see with Elon Musk and soon Amazon and other providers. These rockets typically leave their upper stages in orbit, posing a greater re-entry risk to people on the ground. The FAA published draft regulations to address orbital debris risks, but noted its limited authority to address satellite constellation re-entries effectively. Remember that. Authority. All right, get into that in just a second. Goldstein's letter to the FAA criticized the FAA for not updating figures for the size of constellations or considering Amazon's plans for a satellite constellation. The FAA's ability to assess and regulate in this area has come into question. The report assumes that 28,000 hazardous fragments of satellites and rockets could survive re-entry annually by 2035 if SpaceX's Starlink's expansion proceeds as planned. This debris could pose a risk to people on the ground and aviation. The FAA report acknowledges that the risk of re-entry is minimal if SpaceX Starlink satellites burn up entirely in the atmosphere, as claimed by the company. However, this claim has been challenged. Goldstein emphasizes that SpaceX Starlinks are designed to fully demise or disintegrate, let's say, during atmospheric re-entry at the end of their life cycle. He also pointed out that SpaceX has post-mission disposal success greater than 99%, where the FAA's report relies on space industry meeting a 90% success rate for post-mission disposal. So SpaceX Starlink is hitting 99% disposal rate, whereas NASA, let's say, only needs 90%. So what the hell are they talking about? And this is exactly what goes on in government. It's like this double talk kind of stuff. Anyways, the article finalizes with, the FAA's report analysis was also criticized for relying on 23-year-old NASA study that found roughly one piece of debris surviving re-entry for every 100 kilograms of Iridium communication satellites. 23 years ago. All right, which are part of a much smaller low Earth orbit or LEO constellation. Goldstein argues that the analysis is inapplicable to SpaceX satellites, which are designed differently. While the FAA's report raises concerns about the risks of falling debris, it acknowledges that the agency cannot predict re-entry accurately enough to provide meaningful warning to those in danger. The FAA published draft regulations requiring U.S. commercial launch providers to deorbit spent upper stages post-launch to reduce orbital debris risks and protect people on the ground from uncontrolled re-entries. That's okay with me. However, the FAA noted that it lacks authority to fully address the risks associated with satellite constellation re-entering from LEO. We lack authority. Give us more authority and give us more money. It finalizes with this. The outcome of this challenge from SpaceX may impact how satellite constellations are regulated in the future, as well as an assessment of the risks associated with falling debris from these constellations. So to sum up here, the FCC went after Dish Network. They got $150,000 from them, so the FAA is like, maybe we should try doing something like this too. They put in this report, and then what happens? SpaceX Starlink's attorneys, smarter than they are, slap the shit out of them with the facts. And that is the thing. When you come up with just a bunch of just junk, what ends up happening is when the facts come out, you look stupid. And now the FAA, for putting through this report where they really don't know their ass from their elbow, makes them look stupid. So in short, what is it all about? Once again, power and money. Always about power and money. And just like what they said here, they said the FAA noted that it lacks the authority to fully address the risks associated with satellite constellations re-entering from LEO, or low Earth orbit. We are lacking the authority. We are giving you this information. We want to be able to do something. We want to regulate, but we don't have the authority to do so. Government, give us more authority. That's what it's all about. All right? That is once again what it's all about. So I like to see them getting slapped here because I think that is very important. Once again, if you don't have the facts and then the facts are given to you, well, mea culpa. And mea culpa pretty quickly. All right? And they should. They should be like, maybe we got this wrong. This is 23-year-old NASA data, not with current satellites, with old Iridium satellites, yada, yada, yada. They should do that, but they won't. They won't. But like I said from the very beginning of this, there is a few points that I do agree with. I do believe that there is going to be way too much space junk rotating around this planet. It's going to become a problem. They're going to end up needing some type of garbage collector that is a spacecraft that goes up into LEO and then kind of pulls up next to junk and pulls it in, then up to the next junk and then pulls it in, and then maybe throws it into the atmosphere at specific times to deorbit and burn up over an ocean. All right? Stuff like that. We're probably going to see that in the not so distant future. A space garbage collecting company, disposal company, let's call it. I'm sure it is in the works. And if it's not, you heard it here first. It needs to be. That's number one. Number two, I do believe that those upper stages of these rockets need to be deorbited at the time of launch. Once that upper stage pushes that fairing up into 200, 250 kilometers, and now it's spinning out of control, that unit, that top piece, should be deorbited then, or at least when over a body of water, let's say. So that upper piece needs to have some type of guidance system on it, as well as a propulsion system to be able to push it back into the atmosphere to burn up, and not just to sit there and to spin in LEO indefinitely. It is not necessary. Okay, so I do believe in that. There's no reason to have all of these upper ends of these rockets spinning out of control in LEO. It just doesn't make sense to me. How about you? What do you think? Anyways, down below, let's have this discussion. I think that is fascinating. I love to see it. I love to see what's going on with the FCC. I love to see what's going on with the FAA. I love to see that tug and pull and that back and forth that's happening, because this is brand new. This is new stuff. Yes, satellites have been around forever, but no one person has launched 5,000 satellites into low Earth orbit yet. And Elon has, and the numbers are gaining. They're going crazy at this point. They're launching every 2-3 days, another 22, 20. It's a lot. So once we see Starship, then we're going to see hundreds of satellites going into orbit every single launch. And the FAA needs to get a handle on it. But the problem is they do not have control over this. And you got to remember another thing. We're talking about US and US space travel, right? How about the rest of the world? They just do whatever the hell they want anyways. So you're going to have all of this spinning junk anyways from China, from Russia, from everybody else, right? So yes, while we can police ourselves, which I think is a good thing, but bear in mind, there's going to be a ton of other junk that's just sitting there in low Earth orbit anyways. The Chinese want 13,500 satellites up there within the next couple of years to create their own pseudo Starlink. It is what it is. Anyways, guys, down below, let's have this discussion. If you enjoy this, even in the least, throw it a thumbs up. That'd be awesome. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the years. And hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. That's it, guys. I'm out of here for yet a vlog. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you all.